So, I was running on the treadmill just a little while ago and thinking, like I like to do, and I was thinking about aging, and about how I always get comments on my videos about, there's no way you're 59 years old, yada yada yada, and I started thinking to myself, maybe I have the immortality gene. I know it sounds goofy, but try to follow me here. Most genes have a property called pleiotropy, I think that's how it's pronounced, which means there are multiple phenotypic expressions for one gene. Like, I saw this documentary about foxes, and this guy was breeding foxes to be docile, and it just so happens that the genes that control their temperament also control their ears. So if you breed docile foxes, they'll have these floppy ears instead of ears that stand straight up. And there's no law of biology that says that your body has to just get more and more crapulent until it gives out. But obviously, an immortality gene, because it would have such a significant advantage, evolutionarily speaking, I think we can assume that if an immortality gene existed, it would also have a number of side effects which would tend to prove fatal. And it just so happens, I have a seriously underdeveloped sense of fear and caution, and throughout most of history, that would be pretty fatal. Like, if I get an ingrown toenail, I'll rip it out with my teeth and then put a dirty sock over it. In a time period that doesn't have a lot of sanitation, that would probably prove fatal. Then there's also that I don't ever want to have kids. That seems like it would prevent me from passing on the immortality gene even if I had it. And then I'm really quick to tell people to go fuck themselves, and people don't like that. So again, throughout history, that could get you killed. I also don't really go along with the group opinion on things, and that, again, through history, would get you killed. So it seems entirely possible that I do have the immortality gene. And over my life I've actually given a lot of thought to why it is that certain animals age at different rates. Like my rats, they're only going to live about 3 years, where humans, we can live roughly 70 years. And every animal has its own specific intrinsic lifespan. But these aren't random. Any animal's intrinsic lifespan, what it's going to be is, imagine this. Imagine I had an immortal rat, and I set it free. Even if it was immortal, it couldn't possibly expect to survive more than 3 years in the wild, and it just so happens that they live about 3 years. Like bugs, they don't live very long, but that's because even if they were immortal, they wouldn't live that long, and extensive and continuous self-repair takes a lot of energy. So basically, an animal evolves a lifespan that optimizes its energy usage in terms of self-repair versus reproduction. Because if you're an animal that has just the most efficient self-repair, it takes a lot of energy to do that. A way to think about this is like your car. If you crash your car into something and there's a big dent in it, it's relatively easy to pound the dent out. But the more completely you repair it and try to restore it to perfect, the more energy and labor intensive it is. It's a lot easier just to bang it out and get it close and call it good. And your body's actually kind of like that. Not just the damage done to your body by all the chemicals you're exposed to, but just the very act of living slowly damages your body. It like metabolizing sugar creates these oxygen radicals that just go and fuck up the molecular machinery of your cells. And your cells have mechanisms to repair this damage, but the repair is not 100% efficient, because every next level of greater, more efficient repair takes like a geometrically increasing amount of energy. If you want a nice belabored analogy, think of it like this. Imagine there's a planet that's filled with robots, and they like to make new robots to reproduce themselves. Also imagine that meteors are also slamming down on this planet, killing the robots. Well, there's the robot that every time he's damaged takes all of his energy to perfectly self-repair. That robot isn't going to proliferate very much because it's still going to get smacked by a meteor eventually, and it will have pissed away all of its energy on self-repair. Where another type of robot that just repairs itself a little would then have the energy to make another robot of the same design. I know, it's just a way to think about it. basically aging is the inefficiency of your body's self-repair accumulating. I mean, that's just my thoughts on all that. Just lately, I've been drinking boxed wine because I figure, hell, let's just see how good this whole immortality gene really is. I mean, I don't want to live forever. I've already been alive for an insanely long time, and I mean, it just feels like it's been forever. I mean, I don't want to drag everybody down, but I mean, I don't seem to be as capable of happiness as other people. It takes a lot of work for me to be happy. And given that the universe is hilariously fucking cruel, I have to assume that anybody who has difficulty enjoying life is probably also just going to live forever. Just because, you know, that's... life is like that. Ironic and cruel. Have a nice day.